Welcome to our Junior Giants Coaches Chalk Talk. My name is Cassandra Hoffman. I'm a program director with the Giants Community Fund, and we are so thrilled to have you here tonight. We have an incredible lineup that will get you prepared for this upcoming season, which is just right around the corner. So thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening and your time this season. All right, we are going to get right into it here. So a few of the main topics we're going to hit tonight is why volunteer with Junior Giants. We'll give you a full rundown and reason why you've signed up for this role. We're going to make sure that you are prepped for the upcoming season, that you understand what will be expected of you and what tips and tricks we can provide to you for the 8-week season. And we want to make sure you understand the program structure. So all of the things that will be coming on a weekly basis through your league and given out to the kids. We also have some coaching basics. If you've never stepped onto the field, we're here to help, and some best practices as well. And we are so grateful to be joined by our friends from RISE, Positive Coaching Alliance, and Move Your Body, Calm Your Mind. We also have a special appearance from a San Francisco Giants player, and looking forward to introducing you to him later today. All right, so we know our volunteers, coaches, and our community members, we just give you a giant thank you for helping to really bring Junior Giants to life this year. We know that our program would not exist without the support of our volunteers. It really takes our folks that are boots on the ground working directly with our kids to instill the Junior Giants lessons and teach them valuable skills that they can use on and off the field. So thank you so much. We value your time, your expertise. We are so grateful that you've stepped up to help out your community and make memories for these kids this summer. And really want to expand on your impact. So you are one volunteer. You will likely have 15 Junior Giants players on your team who can all play at no cost this year. And we see time and time again that their experience in the program is a direct result of their coaches, team parents, anyone involved in a mentorship type role makes a really big difference for these kids. They look up to you and they are thrilled that you are there for them for these 8 weeks. So please know that, beyond just the time that you have committed, that you are making an impact on these children's lives. And we thank you so much for that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Bailey.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bailey Rodriguez. I'm the program senior manager for the Giants Community Fund, and I wanted to share what Junior Giants provides as part of this program for our amazing volunteers. So we provide word of the week packs for coaches that include everything you need for that week to lead your team. And one of the important elements of that is our practice plans, which guide you through both the baseball, softball skills and drills, as well as the word of the week talks and the important concepts that you should be going over with your team. So those are a printed practice plan as well as available on our Junior Giants app. We also provide a lot of incentives for players, so this makes our program unique from a lot of other youth sports programs. So every player will receive a water bottle at the start of the season, a weekly baseball card and a binder sleeve to put them in, a Matt Chapman bobblehead at the end of the season, and a prize for completing the Round the Bases reading program, which this year is a backpack. And then we have a season roadmap that guides all the families through the season, the 8-week program, and what to expect and what each word of the week is. We have an amazing scholarship opportunity, a $10,000 scholarship opportunity where we select 10 scholars every year that are going into 8th grade. And then, of course, we have opportunities for Giants tickets at the end of the season associated with taking an end of season survey. And then the Junior Giants app for everyone to use. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So the Junior Giants app, this is what it looks like. This is where you can find practice plans and more. There's team chat, seeing your roster, seeing your practice and game schedules, being able to RSVP to them, and of course for coaches being able to see the practice plans and even other content like videos to guide you through how to best coach your team this season. So the next slide, these are These are just some important resources to download now. So the 2025 practice plans are linked there on that first QR code, as well as the Junior Giants app, whether you have an Apple or Android phone. Please download that, get ready to use it now, and you'll be using that throughout the season to communicate with your team and with your league. So with that, I will pass it to Jaden.
Hi everyone. I am here to just give you a preview or to talk about the season preview. So most seasons start June 9th and go till August 2nd. So 8-week season. Each week there is a word of the week. If you're coaching, you'll find the information on these words of the week in your practice plans, which kind of break down on how to have those wow talks with your players. Yeah. These are just some volunteering basics, expectations for the season. Of course, we know try your best to be on time. We know it can be hot out there too, but yeah, just be a positive, have that positive attitude out there, and just be consistent and be a positive, you'll be a positive role model for these kids. So just some to become certified a junior Giants coach this season, you would probably have already done this. We're in the process, so you need to register and pass your background check. There are resources in the app like Junior Giants University that you should complete. Take the abuse awareness course. This is very helpful information. And don't forget to attend your league's volunteer meeting and coaches clinic. And lastly, our Willy Mack Award. So we really like to honor our outstanding Junior Giants players, but we also want to shine a light on our amazing coaches and team parents. So these are chosen by our leagues, and winners are recognized at Oracle Park during a game. So it's a special award to win, and there's also a special luncheon too. So keep an eye out on that for that. More information will coming through your leagues. And I am happy to introduce now Dr. David Williams from RISE. He currently serves as a partnership manager with the Michigan College Access Network's Advise MI program. Prior to his time with the Advise program, Dr. Williams spent 15 years in college access, as well as served as director of college graduation for a charter management organization in Detroit, and also as assistant director to the Office of Student Athlete Support Services at Michigan State University. And Dr. Williams has also been a RISE facilitator since 2017. So I will let him take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Jaden. So yes, I am happy to be here with you all this evening to share some of our learnings from RISE. And so today we're just going to spend a brief time talking about inclusive leadership. So just a brief agenda. We're not going to follow this to a T. The main part is we're just going to talk about inclusive leadership and the 6 C's. We already talked about who I was, my introduction, and then we'll just talk about some SMART goals and how you can apply the 6 C's that we discussed to SMART goals. So we'll skip these parts right here. Just talk a little bit about RISE as an organization and who we are. And so RISE is a national nonprofit. We're based in New York, but we also have offices in Detroit. And so we want to educate and empower the athletic and the sport community and help us eliminate racial discrimination and just become social champions for social justice. And so at RISE, we just understand the power and the dynamics of sport, not just the athletes, but the community as a whole. And so previous to my current role, I worked at Michigan State, and just working at Michigan State just brought a certain gravitas. People just kind of loved it. They wanted to hear about it. And so we understand the power of sport. We kind of want to capitalize on that. And again, empower and educate everybody in the sport community to join us on this crusade. So we won't watch the video, but I Definitely encourage you all to visit our website, risetowin.org, where you can find this module and other modules, but also the video, and just learn more about the organization. And so inclusive leadership, we're going to talk specifically about inclusive leadership. I know you all are coaches, and so definitely you are leaders already, but we just want to talk about how inclusive leadership can kind of give us something else to add to our toolkit and make us better leaders. And so our objectives really quick, we want to define what inclusive leadership is and understand why it is important. We want to discuss how the skills can be modeled and fostered. And then we want to engage in activities, develop those skills and perspectives. And so we really won't engage in activities just because of the way this is set up as a webinar, but definitely something you all could take back and maybe do on your own, maybe with some of your teams. So first and foremost, just understanding what leadership is and then what inclusive leadership is. And so our definition of leadership is an action that inspires others and galvanizes them around the causes and people who need assistance. Actions reflect values and leadership skills and can be demonstrated by anyone, regardless of a formalized position or role. And I think it's very important, that last sentence, that leadership can be displayed no matter where you stand. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be the captain. A lot of times we have captains, we have co-captains, and we know that leadership does not just come in one form. And so when I always talk to groups, I work a lot with youth as well. I always ask the group as a whole, like, who considers themselves leaders by a show of hands? And never does everybody raise their hand, but I definitely feel that we're all leaders. We all have the capability to be a leader. And so just expressing the fact that you don't necessarily have to be in that leadership role to show a leadership, to be a leader. And as coaches, I'm sure you understand that with various people on the teams, you see people stepping up as leaders in different ways. And so we're just going to talk about some traits of inclusive leadership. If you see inclusive leaders, you'll see that most times they distribute these type of qualities and traits. And so inclusive leadership is about treating people and groups fairly based on their unique characteristics rather than on stereotypes. And so rather than just going off stereotypes of what you might have heard or what you may have read about a certain group of people, you are instead basing your treatment of that person just based on them, your interactions with them, what you've learned about them. And so not based it on stereotypes. Number two, personalizing individuals. So understanding and valuing that uniqueness of diverse others while also accepting them as members of the group. And so for me, diversity is very key and very important. And now we're seeing a lot of attacks on diversity, but understanding that at its core, we're all diverse because we're all different. There are no two people that are alike. And so understanding that we all are unique, but that should be something that's celebrated as opposed to something that's looked at as a negative. And so again, just personalizing your treatment of others to understand their uniqueness, but also celebrating that uniqueness, but then bringing them in as a group, as a member of the group, and not making them another. And so you can also, sometimes see the uniqueness of people, but still treat them kind of distant. And so again, understanding that uniqueness, valuing it, but also bringing that person or those people into your group as a whole. Number three, leveraging the thinking of the diverse groups for smarter ideation and decision making that reduces the risk of being blindsided. And so on teams, we have different positions. Baseball, have a catcher, a pitcher, first, second, shortstop. And so we understand the diversity that's needed in sport. And so just carrying that mindset to any other walks of life. When you have diverse groups, it's very, very beneficial because you have people with different perspectives. And as it says here, it can help you eliminate those blind spots. And so I know for myself in the job that I'm in now, we recently released some advertisement for some scholarships, and the wording some people took offense to, and we found internally that we did not open it up to enough people internally to get eyes on it for people to give feedback. And so again, when you have more people in the room with diverse perspectives coming from different places, you're more likely to eliminate those blind spots. And so again, decision making is better because you have different people, different mindsets that contribute to the overall decision. So just a quote about inclusive leadership. Inclusive leadership is about valuing diversity, recognizing people for their skills, experience, and talent, and treating them equitably and fairly, irrespective of their ethnic background, race, gender, age, sexual orientation, religion, beliefs, or any disability they may have. And so, again, just kind of adding something to the toolkit. We're all leaders, but if you can be an inclusive leader, as this quote shows us, we're really accounting for everybody that we may encounter and making sure that they have an equitable space to be and express who they truly are. And so we'll just look at the 6 C's of inclusive leadership and just I'll talk a little bit about each. So we got commitment, we have courage, we have just awareness or bias, so being cognizant, curiosity, cultural intelligence, and then collaboration. And so we'll just go a little more in depth about each. And so first we have commitment. And so these leaders, if you're an inclusive leader, you make diversity and inclusion a priority. You express authentic commitment to diversity and you challenge the status quo and hold others accountable. So that's that first C, and it's very important to hold others accountable as a leader, to not little things slide. So sometimes we hear comments that we just let go, but that commitment is on every level, every day, and you're just making sure that, again, even little comments, you're holding people accountable. You might not do it in public in front of others, but you will have a conversation at some point just to let them know that that's not acceptable. Number 2, courage. So these leaders are modest about capabilities. They're able to admit their mistakes and create the space for others to contribute. And so having the courage, the humility, and the honesty to admit your mistakes, but also contribute in that space where you're getting information from others. And again, we talked about diversity and why that's important. And so having that diverse group, but you have to also be open and understand and admit to your mistakes and your downfalls and shortfalls. The next one, just being cognizant of your biases. And so just having an awareness of your personal blind spots as well as flaws in the system and work hard to ensure fairness. The next one, curiosity. And so these leaders will demonstrate an open mindset and deep curiosity about others. They'll listen without judgment and seek to understand with empathy. Cultural competence and intelligence. And so these leaders are attentive to others' cultures and they adapt as required. And then collaboration. They empower others, pay attention to diversity of thinking and psychological safety, and then they focus on team cohesion. And so those are our 6 C's. And so what we usually do in this session is have like breakout rooms, but we don't have the capability to do that. I think the chat is open. And so if anybody wants to, definitely feel free to just based on this scenario. And so if you were a junior member of a team interviewing for a new important position at your league, one that your team has struggled to fill, when reflecting on the slate of candidates interviewed, you realize most are white. And so what would you do with that scenario or in that scenario? And so we see at the bottom that you would look at those 6 C's of inclusive leadership and try to kind of go step by step for each C, how that would kind of play out in this scenario. And again, it's hard because we can't really collaborate in breakout rooms. But if anybody wants to, in the chat, put anything in, or even just comment about the 6 C's or anything that I've said thus far. But if not, definitely take this scenario with you all. You can screenshot it. I'll go to the next slide, which will show the 6 C's on one slide with a brief description about each again. So again, if you want to take a screenshot of that, and then we could go back to the previous screen. And again, feel free to utilize the chat, but any comments anybody may have just about that scenario based on some of the things we just discussed or that I just went through. And again, if not, definitely keep this, use it later. We won't really go on too much into the SMART goals, but the SMART goal is basically saying take one of those 7 or one of those 6 C's, and then identify a SMART goal that you can develop about the C for this upcoming year. And so we would have had you break into groups or pair up. But again, you could take this information and use it later, use it with your team. But again, just using SMART goals, which are, if I can get back, I'm sorry, to that previous screen. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting back to, oh, here we go. So SMART goals, just specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then bound timeline. So I'll just stamp a few key takeaways. And so first, just leadership is action, regardless of a formalized position or role that inspires others and galvanizes them around the causes and people who need assistance. And so again, it doesn't matter what your role is in a certain organization or group, whether you're designated as the quote unquote leader, we can all serve as leaders. We can all inspire from different positions. Sometimes you don't even know the people that are watching you, that you inspire, that you are serving as leaders too. And so we definitely all have the capability to be leaders. Number 2, inclusive leadership is about valuing diversity, recognizing people for their skills, experience, and talent, and treating them equitably and fairly, irrespective of their backgrounds. And then key takeaway number 3, inclusive leadership is a skill that you can contribute to, work on, and develop. And so definitely it's something that we can always be working on. Nobody really reaches that like master level. And so we should always be cognizant and working on being better inclusive leaders. And so again, just the 6 C's, commitment, just that awareness and of your bias, that courage, the curiosity, the cultural intelligence, and then finally collaboration. And so I will just thank you all for your time. If anybody is interested, again, this is our social media handles. And so Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. But I would definitely encourage you all to visit our website as well. Again, risetowin.org. And then just thank you all as volunteer coaches, is what I'm hearing. Just thank you all for your commitment to our youth. I work with youth as well. And so thank you all for just giving me a couple of minutes of your evening. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Dr. David. If you would like to scan right here, this is just a toolkit to take with you to implement some of these topics he was talking about. In some ways you can just create a more inclusive environment for those you're working with. And up next we have Francesca Schuler. She is from the Move Your Body, Calm Your Mind initiative, and here to talk more on the 25 times 25 California Coaches Challenge. She currently serves on the California Governor's Advisory Council on physical fitness and mental well-being. She is the president of California's Fitness Alliance, who represents the fitness industry in California and advocates for safe and equitable access to fitness for all Californians. Francesca was CEO of a large California fitness company and currently serves also on the board of Choose Fitness based in San Diego. She's passionate about this and about advocating for physical fitness as part of a healthy lifestyle focused on prevention versus treatment. So will let her take over.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Jaden, and thank you, Dr. Williams. First, I just want to thank all of you on behalf of the Governor's Council for volunteering to be coaches. You are an essential part of keeping our kids healthy and active in California. So really, really grateful to all of you. So on behalf of the council, thank you. The governor established the Council for Physical Fitness and Mental Wellbeing in 2022 with the mission to get more Californians, particularly youth, moving, involved in sports, and involved in fitness. About 70% of kids drop out of sports by the age of 13, which impacts them for life. Sorry, can you just go back to the other slide for 1 second? We partnered starting this year with the Susan B. Crown Foundation that launched a Million Coaches Challenge a couple years ago. Their goal is to train 1 million coaches across the country. So California is participating in this initiative, and our goal is to train 25,000 coaches in California by the end of 2025. Next slide, please. So why did the council take this on? Why do we think this matters? I think you heard a lot from the opening around Junior Giants and Dr. Williams, but better coaches results in better kids and stronger communities. So really, you as coaches are the ones that have the biggest impact on helping kids stay motivated, engage, and really build the skills that team sports brings, which is about confidence and teamwork, about a positive community, and helping really both their physical and mental well-being. So we're really committed to support all of you in becoming better coaches. It's hard. As a former coach, I know myself. So again, really, really grateful to you and the Junior Giants for this program. So the goal this year is to have anyone who's a coach or wants to be a coach go through some training, including as part of the Junior Giants program. So we have some great partners. Next slide, please. We are partnering with expert-led coaching. So you're going to hear a lot about PCA, but we partnered with both the Positive Coaching Alliance and the Center for Healing and Justice Through Sport. Both have incredible trainings for coaches. We do them online and in person. So please take advantage of those. They will be, and I'll get to the website in a second, but we will be having them throughout California, and encourage all of you to join as you continue to build your coaching capabilities and keep the kids in sports. Next slide. So far this year, it's exciting. We are halfway to our goal. We're over 10,000 and it's barely June 1st. And so we're excited to have more volunteer coaches join and go through the training. And again, trainings are available in person throughout the state as well as online. So if you guys participate in any of the trainings, you will be part of achieving our goal. So again, thank you in advance. And more importantly, role modeling what it means to be a great coach and a great leader to David Williams' presentation before. Next slide. So you'll hear a lot more about PCA in the training, but if you want to join or learn more, we'll be promoting the different trainings on moveyourbodycalmyourmind.org. It's the website launched by the council. We also have a ton of resources on there. If you're looking for resources with either how to coach, maybe you have a child that needs some help, an athlete that needs some help, we have a ton of resources on there. So please go to the website. It's really designed to support all of you. And again, on behalf of the council, thank you so much for volunteering. We're really grateful for everything you do to keep our kids healthy and moving, and cannot thank you enough, and look forward to hopefully meeting some of you out there on the playing field. Thank you again.
Thank you, Francesca. Well, I'm sure we'll share more information about that, and we'll also send the recording out as well, so you can find more information on the 25 by 25 coach challenge. But I'm excited to introduce our next guest, Callie Blackman Newton. She is from Positive Coaching Alliance, as just mentioned, but just a little bit about PCA. It is a national nonprofit that organization with a mission to change the culture of youth sports, so that every child, regardless of social economic circumstance, has access to a positive youth sports experience. PCA was founded in 1998 and has impacted over 20 million youth, sometimes directly, but most typically through coaches like you. As for Callie, she is the Director of Coalitions and Community Impact. Callie has led coalition work and drive sport equity initiatives throughout Northern California. And supporting equity through sports has always been a dream of hers, and in this role brings that vision to life. She often says it's the perfect mix of social justice and sport. Callie is proud to serve and uplift the marginalized communities across the region and beyond. But outside, Callie also loves to partake in her own sports, so basketball, hitting the golf course, or playing in our local softball league. So always finding the joy in sports. And I will let Callie take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm only okay at all of those things, but I do enjoy playing. Yeah, so thank you so much for that introduction. As I believe that was Jaden. I can't see anybody else, but I think that was Jaden, so thank you so much. As she said, my name is Callie Blackmanoon. I'm the director of Coalitions and Community Impact for Positive Coaching Alliance. And our mission is to ensure that all kids have equitable access to a positive youth sport experience. And coaches are a huge part of that, and you all are a huge part of that. So echoing Francesca, thank you so much for volunteering your time and being willing to, make this huge commitment to your kids and your families and your community. I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health today, because one, it's important to, as coaches, to support our kids in their mental health journeys, as well as taking care of our own mental health, because being a coach is tiring. As a coach of middle schoolers, I didn't think, like, I knew I'd be coaching right on the court, but I didn't really take into account all of the time and brain power it will take up outside of practice and games. Just wanted to piggyback a little bit off of what Francesca was talking about as far as our workshops go. We have workshops for coaches really designed around like how to create a positive youth sports culture, how to develop competitors through positive coaching, coaching with empathy. We also have workshops for parents and workshops for businesses and leaders, and also student athletes. If y'all are in contact with like any like older kids, we do workshops to help them create positive culture within themselves as well. So I'll send that to Junior Giants to send that on a follow-up, but there's a lot of PCA workshops that we would love for y'all to take advantage of as you go through your coaching journey. You can hit the next slide, please. So today I just want to talk a little bit about mental health and kind of like put us in a space where we're thinking about where kids are coming from before they get to the field, right? So some of the stuff that we look at is toxic stress and ACEs. So ACEs is adverse childhood experiences. There is like a test or like a little survey you could take to kind of like see where you're at as far as like adverse childhood experiences go, but that can include abuse, neglect, and just like general like household dysfunction. Toxic stress results from prolonged exposure to stress without supportive relationships. So we all have stress, right? But we're talking about prolonged exposure without like a supportive relationship, and that can impact brain development, emotional regulation, and also our physical health. So there's 3 types of stress. Positive stress, so brief increases of stress with supportive relationships. So think like a wedding, like planning a wedding or planning a vacation. Stressful, yes, but you're usually supported with a bunch of people, and also it's like for a brief moment in time. Tolerable stress can be serious stress, but temporary stress. And, we have some buffers of support around us. But the last one I already talked about, the toxic stress, prolonged activation of stress response without that support. So these are some spaces where kids can be coming from before they get to the field. So how can these toxic stress affect our student athletes and us, honestly? It can lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout. It can impact focus, motivation, performance, sports, and academics. So think like if a kid doesn't have regular access to food, right, and they go to school in the morning, like they're not at their best, they're not performing their best, partly because they're hungry, partly because they're being exposed to like prolonged toxic stress. And then as the time goes on, we have an increased risk for long-term mental and physical health issues. So what we really want to do is make sure we're supporting student athletes and their mental health. So creating a safe space for open communication, encourage effort-based feedback, not just performance-based. Feel free to drop in the chat like some effort-based feedback, not performance-based. So what do you say to your kids that's effort-based? I really like your hustle out there, not like good job, Billy, you're across the line first, but check you out, Javier, like you're giving a lot of good effort today. Checking in regularly and validating emotions. I like to start my practices with like, how are we feeling today, y'all? Thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down. You know, glad to see so many thumbs up. If you're in the middle or your thumbs down, you know, I'm always here after practice. I come 15 minutes before practice. I'm here to talk. If you need somebody to talk to, if you're here, you're here. So like just making sure we're checking in regularly. We're being patient. We're respecting their need for space. Like they don't have to tell us stuff, but just letting them know that we're here. We're here to just kind of like bounce ideas off of them or have them bounce ideas off of us. Or, you know, I had a girl in my last girls basketball team that, you know, was having trouble in school and like she didn't have anybody to sit with at lunch, and all of these things were affecting her when she got to practice. So just making sure we're having those regular check-ins. Also like just being aware of additional supports that are in your area, offering school counselors, mentors, and peer support options, you know, like being in touch with the parents as much as you can be, and just letting them know that you're there for the family and the community and their kids as well. Also, being prepared to connect your young athletes or your youth athletes with some crisis resources. You got the 988 Lifeline, the Trevor Project, a lot of other resources like mental health resources online that you can guide them to. I'm not a professional like mental health expert, but I just try to make sure I have kind of like a Rolodex of resources that I can point them to or learn more about, so I can have that at the ready if they need it. And then I think just normalizing seeking help and being transparent about how you're feeling, right? Like, oh, so glad to see so many thumbs up. That makes me feel like, you know, that makes me feel good because today I'm like here. So I think just being transparent with your athletes and just letting them know that sometimes adults struggle too kind of normalizes that and normalizes talking about mental health. Like I said, be genuine and acknowledge that it might be difficult to bring up some conversations. You know, talk about time and place to bring up some conversations.
My name is Stephanie Vasquez.
Okay. Asking open-ended questions and avoiding judgment. You could use a rating scale like 1 to 10 to gauge emotional state, like 1 being like I'm totally cool, 10 being like I need help now, right? Just giving them those tools to be able to talk about it, or at least give you some indication of what's going on, if they can't verbalize it. My favorite thing to do if somebody needs to talk or an athlete needs to talk is doing it while we're doing an activity. Like I had a girl pull me aside and be like, can you help me, you know, get my footwork on my layups right? And then I went over there to help her, and it was actually because she wanted to talk about something that was bothering her, and it was easier for her to talk while we were practicing our layups. Sorry, I only have basketball reference, but you know, while we're fielding or while we're playing catch, like, you know, let us know what's going on. So that might be helpful too. Also there's at the bottom of my slide deck, or, you know, maybe if they send this out, also on our website, we have something called the Dev Zone, and it has a whole bunch of resources. You could just type in like mental health or girl, like I need help getting more girls on our team, like all types of stuff in our dev zone that's free to access on our website. So feel free to tap into that as well. You go ahead and change it. Thank you. Also, you're not in it alone, right? You have a whole team of young people, hopefully some assistant coaches, but we want to build that supportive team environment, encouraging team discussions, team check-ins about emotions and experiences, making sure that we're building a culture of respect and mutual care for each other, showing that to the people on our team, but also to our opponents, right? Having that good sportsmanship and culture of respect. Teaching athletes, like as we're checking in with our athletes, that's teaching them that it's okay for them to check in on each other. Let them know if we see somebody if they make a mistake and they have their head down, like maybe check in on them after practice and see kind of like where their headspace at. Like it's okay for our kids to lean on support for each other too. And then lastly, kind of what we talked about already, but leading by example. So modeling empathy and emotional intelligence to your staff, your other coaches, the coaches on the other team, the umps, and everything like that. Just quickly want to also touch on our mental health, right? Like we can't that saying like you can't fill from an empty glass, right? We have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So we want to recognize the pressure, right? Like coaching is emotionally demanding, like I said, like it's okay to acknowledge the stress and frustration or burnout, or like coaching multiple teams. Like I've been at practice 3 days this weekend. I need to drive home in silence. Like, and that's okay. So just making sure like we're acknowledging that and checking in with ourselves, making sure we're setting boundaries. Like obviously we're there for our kids, our families, our communities, but it's also important to protect your time and energy. Like you can care deeply and then say like, let's find another time to talk about this. Like when I have more time, or whatever the case may be. Find your network of coaches, build a support network to share challenges, vent, swap ideas. We're as good as everybody that's in the room. We have as much experience as the people in the room have, and I know we have a lot of experience on this call and in the Junior Giants Network. So, feel free to build a community and reach out to other coaches. In the moment, take some breaks and breathe. Step away if you need to. Even like just breathing in for 8, holding, and letting out for 6, like can really regulate your nervous system. And a dysregulated adult cannot help like a child regulate their stuff. So really just take that time and that breath. Just like we teach our kids, like reflect, right? But I tell my kids all the time, like sports, we have to have a short memory. Like we have a short memory when we lose. We feel our feelings, and we're on to the next play, we're on to the next game. And that goes for wins too, right? Like we want to feel those feelings and then move on from them and learn from them. Making sure you're getting enough sleep, movement, nutrition, the basics of self-care. Just like I talked about, if the kid's not eating breakfast and then they come to school, like they're not coming as their best self. So just making sure that you're taking care of yourself. And then lastly, which also goes around with like building up your network, making sure you're asking for help, tapping into those resources that I talked about earlier. It's not a weakness to ask for strength, or it's not a weakness to ask for help. It's really a strength. So building those peer check-ins. Maybe you have an app that reminds you to breathe. You have a reminder on your phone to take 5 minutes to turn off everything and just relax. Maybe you're in therapy. Like there's a lot of options. So make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and we're in tune with what's going on with us as well. Yes. So lastly, like I said, toxic stress can impact how we all show up, right? So building those supportive relationships, making sure that we're building a network around us and we're creating that self-care, all super important. But yeah, making sure that we're coming from a place with empathy. I think that's my time, but I just want to again plug the Dev Zone on the PCA website. We have something called the Positive Youth Sports Culture Index, where you can go in and kind of like rate the culture of your program and see, you know, where we can improve, where we can be more positive, and where we're actually crushing it. So a lot of resources on the website. I think they're going to give out my contact information. So if you want to follow up with me one-on-one, I love chatting with people. And again, thank you so much for volunteering your time and for being great role models in your communities. So I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all do this season. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I am Jordan with the Giants Community Fund, and I want to start by thanking our friends at the Positive Coaching Alliance for helping bring today's Chalk Talk to life, and Dr. David Williams as well. Thank you all so much for your time being on this call. PCA is all about helping athletes grow, not just as players, but as people. And today's special guest is the perfect example of that. We are so excited to welcome a very special guest, someone who brings heart, hustle, and a whole lot of energy to the game every single day. So please give a very warm welcome to our San Francisco Giants shortstop, Willy Adames. Willy plays with passion, a big smile, and an even bigger commitment to being a great teammate on and off the field. So he's here today to share his story, his advice, and answer some of our questions. Hi, Willy. Thanks for joining.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Thanks for being here with us today. So we've got a few questions for you. Starting off, if you can pick, what has been your favorite memory so far this season as part of the Giants?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like every day we win is a special day for us, and I think just being here, I don't have a favorite moment right now. It's just every day. It's just something new that happens. Like today, you know, Laval got his 100 save of his career. Like, you know, so some special stuff like that happen, and you know, I feel like for me personally, I'm just enjoying every moment here and just, you know, try to build a positive culture and a positive energy every day, and just try to build a lot of good memories. I don't have one in a specific yet, but I mean, I feel like when I got my first homer here, it was a really good one for me personally. But as a group, I feel like, you know, we're doing a really good job, you know, with the energy and everything, and building a really good culture here. And that's what, for me, that's what I'm taking home every day.
I totally agree with you. There's definitely been some great energy, some great moments. I definitely enjoyed your first home run too, so it's a good answer. Could you say if there is a piece of advice from a coach that you received in your life that has really stuck with you?
I mean, I gotten a lot of great advices, you know, throughout my entire life, you know, off the field and on the field. Like, I feel like one of the most memorable that I can tell you guys is, you know, I remember this coach, he told me when I was in the minor league, he was like, you could be as good as you want, you know, if you keep following your dream by putting the work every day and not giving up, you know, whether you're like struggling or like, you know, you're doing really good, don't get too excited. If you're doing too bad, don't get too low, you know. He say, as long as you follow your dream with enthusiasm and with hard work, you're gonna be as good as you want one day. And for me, that's stuck out. It stuck there. It was like I was like, after that, I was like, man, like, and I was like, I think I was like in high A, and I was like, for me, it was like, man, I was like, I could be a big leaguer in like a few years, and just be a really good one if I keep working hard every day, and that's what I did, and now it's been like what, that was 2015. It's been 10 years after that, and I've been in the league for 8 years. So that was a really good piece of advice for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's very important to trust the process, and
Yeah,
a dream's not built in it overnight. So that's really a good piece of advice
that's
to
true. I
share.
mean, I feel like failure is part of this. It's like hand to hand with success. When you have a lot of failure, that means that you know you learning a lot to be great one day. Obviously, if you work hard, right, you just can't fail and then just give up and be like and go pound on yourself. You just got to continue to work and put the work in, and you're gonna get the results at some point. So for me, when you fail, you just have to continue to work, and the results are gonna be there at some point.
Absolutely. And it's all a good learning experience at the end of the day. Um, Something that I think with the Giants Community Fund, we owe a lot of our success and our process to is our strong community of volunteers. They're one of our biggest support systems that we have, that makes this program so strong. How has your own support system, whether it's teammates or family or coaches, really made a difference in your journey in getting here?
I feel like that's what makes me who I am. Like I feel like when you surround yourself with you know good people, good energy, people that are gonna help you to be better every day, and not just yes men. I think that's what makes you great. When you have an environment that is gonna push you to be at your best every day, that's when you're going to be great. That's when you're going to have success, and you're going to be successful in life. And for me, it's been my family, my friends that I have right next to me, talking to me every day. Obviously now that I'm here, I have some teammates that I'm building a relationship, and try to help each other, because this is hard. Baseball is hard, and it's an everyday grind, and you have to have those people around yourself that are going to help you to stay calm and stay grounded, and just to push you to your limits, to be better every day. And I wanted to thank the volunteers, people that are helping the Giants Community Fund. I mean, obviously, without them, I know you guys couldn't do what you guys do, and obviously we are very grateful for that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for saying that. And we love all of our volunteers all over all of our 83 plus leagues. So thanks for shouting them out. But you talked about your teammates and the energy and environment around, positive attitude. How would you say you show up for your teammates when things aren't going well during tough games, practices? Like you said, it's everyday grind.
Yeah, just by bringing the same energy every day. Like I say, the season is too long for you to like obviously let the bad moments take you down. Obviously, it's not going to be the same every day. You're going to have days that you're not going to feel great. Well, that's when somebody else has to step up and be like, okay, I got you today, But for me, like, I try to be the same guy every day, and I try to help my teammates by being positive every day. Even though like if I'm not doing at my best right now, I'm gonna show up and be the same guy. I'm gonna work harder every day, and I'm gonna show you that it doesn't matter if you're doing good or bad. You have to be the same guy, because we need you. We need everybody's energy to be successful as a team. We need everybody to bring a little piece for us to to complete the puzzle. And I think I think we've been doing a really good job of bringing the energy every day, and the boys are showing up every day with the right positive, with the right mindset. Even though we had bad stretches, but they've been the same guys, the same guys, and they've been supporting each other, and that's for me. This is what makes this team special, and I think we're building something great, within the clubhouse, and obviously, it's going to show up on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that positive energy is just contagious. So I
Yes.
know we can really feel it on the other side. So that's really great. You've given a lot of great advice for our listeners and for the community today. But to finish off, if you could give one piece of advice to younger players who are just starting out, this is their first season of Junior Giants, what would you say to them?
Just to follow their dream. I mean, there's anything that they can't do, I mean, they can take me as an example. I come from a small island, this dream for me was too far away, but I never gave up. I never, was like, oh, it's too big. I worked hard for it, and I'm here, so don't you guys ever think that there's something too big that you can't accomplish. As long as you follow your dream and you work for it, you're gonna make it there at some point. It doesn't matter how far you think it is, it's not as far as you think. So just follow your dreams and never give up.
I'll take that with me, and I hope everybody else on the call will too. Thank you so much, Willy, for your time and for your wise words of wisdom and the great energy you're bringing to the team this year. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
I'll pass it back to Bailey.
Oh, yeah, and one more time, thank you for everybody that is helping this go through, and obviously to help all the kids that are out there in need, and obviously we really appreciate that, and appreciate you guys having me on this call. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
And I'll pass it back to Bailey. I think you're still muted.
Thank you. Just wanted to give one more big, huge thank you to Willy for joining us today and for everything that he does as our Junior Giants commissioner. But just wanted to close out with some next steps. And I did want to acknowledge that I know there are a lot of league specific questions in the chat, which is amazing. It shows that you're plugged in. Just for reference, we here at the Giants Community Fund are kind of in the main headquarters offices in San Francisco, and we work with 83 different leagues all over California and even in Oregon and Nevada. So sometimes when you are asking questions about, what time is our first pitch meeting, or when am I going to find out what team I'm on, we don't always have the exact answers to those because we're working with your local agencies. So check in with your local commissioner and ambassador. Hopefully they've been sending out emails to you. If not, you can go on our website at gojrgiants.org, and you can find when you click register, it'll show you a big contact list with a contact for every single league. So you can go on there and contact them if you haven't heard enough about what's going on with the season. That is also a good segue into downloading the Junior Giants app to start your coach certification, as well as get plugged in with the team-based resources like the team chat and roster and schedule. Some of those are not live in every single league yet because your commissioner has not finished rostering yet, but in almost every single league, they will be live by Monday the 9th. So download that, get ready to log in and see everything in there. And then, like we've talked about, do your coach certification. Even if you're just signed up as a team parent, it's still good to do the certification. It's not very baseball, softball specific. It's more about the Junior Giants program as a whole. You can review your practice plans in the app, and then attend your league's coaches clinic and volunteer meeting if you haven't yet, or some of leagues they've already passed, but if you still have an opportunity to go to any trainings through your local league, please do so. And with there are a couple questions about the practice plans that I can just answer verbally. Just go into the app, go to Coach's Corner, and they live under there, and they are live currently. With all that being said, please reach out to us after this if you have any other questions, or your local commissioner or ambassador if you have any questions about your specific league. And thank you all again for joining us. An extra thank you to Willy and all of our amazing speakers today. Thanks, everyone.